Most people have no idea that some seriously great movies are free on YouTube right now. And today's list includes classic action, major award-winning films, and one of my top recommendations that you absolutely need to stick around for at the end. Let's get into it.
The same guy that was removed from the president's detail?
He is ex-Special Forces.
Starting off at number 5 is Olympus Has Fallen from 2013. This action thriller stars Gerard Butler as Mike Banning, a former Secret Service agent who finds himself trapped inside the White House after it is taken over by terrorists. With the president held hostage and the building under siege, Banning becomes the only person on the inside who can stop the attack. If you like tense action movies with high stakes, nonstop momentum, and that classic one man against impossible odds setup, this one absolutely delivers. It's basically a modern throwback to those big, hard-hitting action movies that were everywhere in the 80s and 90s. The movie also stars Aaron Eckhart, Morgan Freeman, and Angela Bassett, so the cast is much stronger than people remember. And if you've never seen it, it's one of those movies that gets going fast and doesn't let up. One little known fact, the filmmakers originally wanted the movie to feel like a modern Die Hard-style siege thriller, which is a big reason why the action is so stripped down and relentless.
A lot of bad things, Joey. Maybe it's coming back to me.
Coming in at number 4 is Raging Bull from 1980. Directed by Martin Scorsese and starring Robert De Niro, this film tells the story of boxer Jake LaMotta, a brutally talented fighter whose rage and insecurities slowly destroy both his career and his personal life. This is one of those movies that has a legendary reputation for a reason. It's intense, raw, and emotionally heavy, but De Niro's performance is incredible from start to finish. Even if you're not usually into boxing movies, this is really more of a character study than a sports movie. The black and white cinematography gives it a gritty, almost documentary feel, and it helps the movie stand out visually from almost anything else from that era. It's widely considered one of the greatest films of the 1980s, and for a lot of people, it's one of Scorsese's absolute best. One little known fact about Raging Bull, Robert De Niro gained around 60 pounds to play the older version of Jake LaMotta, and at the time it was considered one of the most extreme physical transformations an actor had ever done for a role.
Nice stems.
Thanks.
Coming in at number 3 is As If, Clueless from 1995. This comedy stars Alicia Silverstone as Cher Horowitz, a wealthy and popular Beverly Hills high school student who seems totally superficial at first, but actually has a good heart and a surprisingly sharp sense of confidence. What makes Clueless so rewatchable is that it's funny, endlessly quotable, and way smarter than people sometimes give it credit for. It's loosely inspired by Jane Austen's Emma, which is part of why the story still works so well. Underneath all the 90s fashion and comedy, it's really about someone learning to grow up and see the world a little differently. And honestly, this movie has become more iconic over time. The outfits, the slang, the cast. It's one of the most recognizable comedies of the 90s, and it still holds up way better than a lot of similar movies from that era. One little known fact about Clueless, several phrases that became hugely associated with the movie, especially As If, exploded into pop culture after the film came out and became part of 90s slang almost overnight.
Sure picked one hell of a guy to mess around with. John Rambo is a Green Beret.
And at number 2, First Blood from 1982. This is the movie that introduced the world to John Rambo, played by Sylvester Stallone. But if you've only seen the later Rambo movies, this one might surprise you, because it's actually much more grounded and serious than the sequels. The story follows John Rambo, a Vietnam veteran, who wanders into a small town and ends up being harassed and pushed too far by the local sheriff and his deputies. What starts as a tense confrontation turns into a full-scale manhunt through the mountains as Rambo uses all of his training to survive. What makes First Blood so good is that it's not just an action movie. It's also about trauma, isolation, and how veterans were treated after returning home. Stallone gives one of his best performances of his career, and the ending hits much harder than people expect if you don't know the character from the bigger action sequels. One little known fact about First Blood, the original cut of the movie was reportedly so rough in early editing that Stallone thought it might ruin his career, and he even wanted to buy the film back to keep it from being released before it was reworked.
Out to meet his match.
How many shrinks you go to before me?
5. This boy's genius is unparalleled.
And my top recommendation today, 1998's Good Will Hunting. This film stars Matt Damon as Will Hunting, a brilliant but deeply troubled young man as a janitor at MIT, who secretly has genius-level intelligence. After getting into legal trouble, he's forced into therapy by Sean Maguire, played by Robin Williams, and that's where the movie really becomes something special. What makes Good Will Hunting so powerful is that it's not just about intelligence. It's about pain, fear, self-worth, and the struggle to believe you deserve a better life. Matt Damon is excellent in the role, but Robin Williams brings so much warmth and humanity to the film that it's impossible not to feel it. It's one of those movies that connects with people on an emotional level and stays with you long after it's over. And if you've never seen it, this is absolutely the movie from today's list that I would recommend the most. One little known fact about Good Will Hunting, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck wrote the screenplay together, and when the film won the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay, they were only in their 20s. If you enjoy discovering movies that you can watch for free right now, make sure you subscribe to Screen Selections, and let me know in the comments if there's anything missing on today's list that you have seen that I need to add maybe for our next video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.